Okay. So hopefully we are not having a second set of technical difficulties. Maybe he is so ashamed by TGE's call out that he is just leaving and forfeiting and just turning his stream off.
Well, assuming we have the correct seed here, then we, in theory, should be starting up by the river.
Yeah, shuffled start screen this time around, which is nice to see. And, you know, he's going to check level 1 here. Not a bad choice as you walk by.
And there it is.
Level 1. It's definitely worth dropping by. I would say from the configuration here, we probably have got a vanilla level 1.
But this looks more like tapioca, though.
Yes, different color, but same overall shape.
All right, so I believe we've got everything taken care of as Crim gets nipped in the butt by a couple of gorillas who obviously think that bananas are superior to onions as they clip the onion knight.
Yeah, Crimson's just leaving level 1 as the same as Isolated decided to. Both probably going to head towards that start screen to see if we've got a sword available.
But first, we gotta wait for the levers.
And yeah, Isolated does find that sword, but no extra candles, so they will be looking for that particular shop as well. But if we don't have shuffled caves, it should be pretty easy.
Well, you did say you wanted vanilla Zelda, and right now, we're getting it.
So far we are, that is correct. Looks like possibly non-shuffled HP as well. Which is pretty rare, actually. But look at that on Crimson's side.
Second quest overworld.
I like it.
So we could have generic second quest, which, you know, take things a whole lot of different. If you don't know where you're going in second quest overworld, then...
Yeah, I'm going to, after looking at 4 different enemies die, we have got normal HP, which is super rare. And so these guys will know exactly how many hits it takes to kill each particular enemy. And an early wand pickup for Isolated.
That's good because we saw the boomstick.
We did see the boomstick. So Crim going to head back over to level 1 as well. Easy dungeon to find items in, and I know both of them will be super happy to see the book. Or not the book, but the wand. Isolated obviously not having found that yet, but Crimson I'm sure will take his time saving up. With only one large secret, however, it could prove difficult to find the money.
And from the looks of it, drops are not shuffled here yet again in the rooms. So take that as you will.
Easy game.
Easy game indeed.
We do have boss shuffle as Manhandla is guarding the white sword.
Wow! So had you delved a little deeper into this, you wouldn't have had to go pick up the sword. Not there was any extra candle there to hold, but level 1 coming through with all of the offensive artillery.
Yeah, and it's nice to see when you've got a normal HP seed like this. You know, a lot of the time the wand and the sword aren't that big of a deal because 0 HP comes through, but going to prove to be extremely valuable. And we do have drop shuffle as well, as a Stelphos just dropped a bomb on Isolated side. So nice
that
thing.
Is delicious.
Yeah, nice thing it's a boomstick seed because these shuffled drop groups, as we both very well know, can cause some bomb issues.
Yes, they can. Yeah, bombs. If you've gone and watched either of my 2 races, the thing you'll see that's probably the most common is 0 in my bomb count.
Indeed. Got a little bit of buffering over on isolated side. Did he get the white sword?
We'll check once he gets out of here, but I don't believe he did.
Okay, so he is going to go back in.
Sure.
So good decision on his part. I believe he only had one room left. I'm not quite sure why he didn't go over there, but
because it was faster to warp out to get the Triforce, I would imagine.
Yeah, that is a possibility. So we gotta find this Manhandla. Looks possibly like 0 HP bosses, though.
It's either 0 or shuffled at this point, because Manhandla should not be going down to 1 wand beam.
Meanwhile, it looks like Crimson's still trying to find the wand. And once he does, I'm sure we'll grab that Triforce. But for the moment, a slight early lead here for Isolated.
Yeah, but do keep in mind that Crim has the advantage right now of knowing this is second quest overworld, whereas Isolated does not.
That is true, which limits quite a lot the dungeons that you can make access to right now. Pretty much the only place that they can make their way to would be level 3.
Right. Now you can get to level. Well, yeah, technically it's going to be level 3, but where level 2 would normally be, because the way the randomizer works, it codes it weird. But where level 2 would normally be in second quest, which is in the Armo statues up by where the blue ring normally is, that's technically going to be level 3. Aside from that, without a candle, there's not a whole lot left we can do.
Yeah, candle or possibly power bracelet would be an interesting choice to head over to the graveyard early to see if the power bracelet is there. As for, at least for the item to not be there, it's a 50-50 chance, and it's still going to be, the 50% chance that it's the power bracelet, which could be very useful in the second quest.
Yeah,
Obviously, since you need
one
it
other
to
thing
get
to
to
point
dungeon.
out here, Genos, is because we're getting the normal hints in the secret caves, and then we just had a hint telling us that the doggo dwells by a river, which we're assuming that the overworld isn't shuffled, which means it's true. We have deceptive hints on.
Very nice. Hopefully that doesn't throw Isolated off too much. As you know, again, at this point he has to at least know that it's mixed or second quest overworld, having seen that Heart Rock does not bomb open. So we'll see what his next move is here.
Here's another fun one. Wand Masters dropping bombs.
Ooh, interesting. He does find that wand, though. I'm sure he's going to be happy to see that, obviously, since he knows it's Boomstick Seed.
Absolutely, and he's definitely going to be saving up for that. But now at this point, we are in the candle is going to be a huge, huge deal. You said you wanted a seed where a bunch of stuff is required. Well, this is going to be it, because if it's this generic second quest, it's all required. Recorder, raft, ladder, the whole shebang.
Indeed. Looks like I did get my wish. And, we got, again, normal HP, which is super rare, but nice to see. Provides a little bit of an extra layer of challenge. Looks like Isolate is going to jump up here, grab the ferry, and I would assume head over to the Blue Ring Armos to enter what is level 3, and Crimson should be right on his coattails.
Yep. So yeah, we're going to have both of them going into level 3. Both of them going immediately with the assumption, and probably correctly, that we are at. We are in vanilla second quest.
Fantastic. Isolated fighting the Blue Ring shop just south of level 3 here. 230 rupees, but I'm pretty sure that once he sees the fact that Boomstick is on the table, that will become a little bit more irrelevant.
Going in and out there, forgetting that we are in normal shapes, Gliok lurks in the forest. Also a deceptive hint.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, if you're going to get deceptive hints, this is the kind of seed you want to get it in, obviously, as it doesn't really play a whole lot of part in what happens. Obviously, if you get a hint for an item, you have to be a little bit more cautious, but as far as finding the levels where those are normally helpful to do so, we already know where everything is.
Yeah, that is true. So knowing the locations of pretty much everything is going to be, absolutely great. I know if I was into a sea where I knew where everything was, I'd be like, woohoo, yeah, baby, let's do this.
Yeah, Crimson getting a key there, which is super nice, as he needs to get that direction to find the Triforce. Key's proving to be a little bit lacking so far due to the keys needed to get through level 1 and also the key to access level 3 here without the ability to scroll to open it.
But there is the item here in 3, and killing Gleeok with that wand hit confirms we are at... well, it doesn't confirm... Ooh, God, wrong boomerang. More than likely adds penance or adds legs to the fact that we are at 0 HP bosses.
Yeah, I would definitely second that assumption at this point. Unfortunately, Isolated taking the wrong turn here in level 3 is going to lose just a little bit of time on Crimson here, but it shouldn't take him too long to complete this dungeon. Does know where the Triforce is, and I would have to assume he's going to head... Oh, he'll head to the other direction first. Never mind. This could prove to be useful, as he might pick up some extra keys that might pay off later on in other dungeons as well.
Yeah, here's the thing though, with Crim, if he knows, and he should know at this point that we are at Second Quest Overworld, he has one of two options left to do to uncover dungeons. He can farm money for rupees, or he can go over to the grave and check on to see if the power bracelet is still there.
Yeah, I would have to assume that that is going to be his move. You'd figure he might up A, as it would probably be a little bit faster, but definitely looks like he's making his way towards the grave. That's kind of the nice thing about these Second Quest Siege, right? If the first two dungeons that you can access are 1 and 3, and after that, if you don't have access to a candle, you know that power bracelet has to be somewhere that you can get to it, because otherwise there's really no way to get to a dungeon, unless I guess you have to find that candle shop and farm rupees for it, which would be unfortunate.
As much as I understand the joke you're making there, Lemon, it is not actually, level 3 is not actually a image that cannot be seen. Level 3 is actually a Japanese manji, which, while the swastika is based off of that, the swastika actually has all 4 of its end pieces turning the other direction.
This has been History by the Greenleaf Effect.
And Crim does, in fact, pick up a power bracelet in its normal location. And the good thing about that, the start screen that we have here, is it puts them very, very close to both what the White Sword Cave is more likely going to be if it's not shuffled, and level 5.
It must be shuffled, because they already have a white sword.
Right, I mean, if the cave itself is shuffled.
Oh,
it's
my
the
goodness.
key.
That is probably probably one of the most important items to get their hands on early here, right? Especially for Crimson, who's already down to 1 key. The idea of, okay, well, he knows where the hearts are. He could go to the heart location over in the grave if he needs to get the 5th heart for that.
Right, assuming it's not shuffled, which, well, 5 hearts.
So all that farming in level 3 for keys turns out to be moot points, but we do have an any key pickup on Isolated at 5 hearts, and from the looks of it, he is quite aware that he is in Second Quest, and he is quite aware that he has got what appears to be non-randomized dungeons as far as like the room configuration. We don't have like level 4's river room swapped into level 1 or anything like that, so knows what he's looking for as far as items go, and Crimson as well. So this should be quite the race. And again, it's not creeping the Lost Hills.
No, had you said Dig Dog or Gazes in the Lost Hills, you would have been fine, game, but no. Crim using the iframes from stabbing a bunny to good use there. Having to stab the bunny, have it jump over his head, and pick up the key.
Yeah, so interesting choice here. Major deviation. We've actually got Isolated making his way up here towards the Lost Hills, but I'm not quite sure what it is he's looking for, because I don't believe that he's picked up the power bracelet yet. Maybe he's buying a candle at the candle shop. He's looking for a candle. Okay. Meanwhile, Crimson's still digging through a level 5 here, hoping to find what hopefully is a recorder or a ladder, as we don't really have access to anything else yet until we find a candle shop.
Yeah, I also want to give everybody a quick preview here. Take a look at Crim's screen. You see what we see? That could be something potentially we do see coming up in the later rounds. Blackout is an option.
Yeah, blackout, not fun. From experience, not fun. Especially when it can be swordless boomstick, or swordless blackout, which is even better. Interesting choice to buy the arrows, as Isolated is no longer going to have the money required to purchase a candle. Also of note, I don't believe he knows that it's boomstick yet.
He has not seen that shop.
So I would assume at this point, he's going to head over towards the grave to see if we can find a power bracelet. Because outside of that, he has no options. I don't know that he has access to any more secrets to get money either.
Yeah, no, I don't know that either. And Crim picking up his 5th heart, so he now is going to be able to go ahead and get the any key.
Which is definitely a relief. Again, sitting on one key is never fun. It alters the way you make your way through dungeons as well. You know, as he avoids going right here in this particular. Obviously, he's already been in that room, but looks like a ladder block in level 5.
So that means candle is going to be required to find.
And both of these guys a little bit short on money, unfortunately. It looks like we've got Isolated perhaps maybe farming money at this point, which is not a bad choice considering that it looks like we need a candle.
Crim opting to not go back and pick up the any key just yet. Probably going to save that when he goes back to level 5 to finish it off.
So Isolated looks like he's going to take the long route over to the graveyard. No shame in that if you can't screen scroll on that screen. Meanwhile, Crimson looks like he's trying to track down where he can find a candle, and it would be quite interesting if it ends up being the rare shop in the northeast, which I don't know if that Isolated ever checked. As the shop where the blue ring is normally at is where the northeast 100 secret is in First Quest.
That's where he bought the arrows from.
Oh, I guess that's true. And there was no candle, so where is the candle?
Not a clue. And, I mean, would the candle be with the book?
It might have. I didn't quite catch what was going on in that cave, but that could be the location. Meanwhile, Crimson making his way along the coast. I'm assuming going to go check to see what the coast item is. As right now, there really isn't anything else that he can do until he gets enough money to buy a candle.
Yeah, no, this is crazy.
Yeah, which is why you, if you don't get free candles in second quest like this, where it's vanilla caves, it's probably a better choice to make that purchase first instead of something, you know, like arrows or a book even. While there is boomstick available, if you can't access any dungeons to make use of it, it can be a little bit frustrating. But 78 rupees now over on Isolated side, so he should be able to get a candle once he runs into it.
And before it's 80 rupees.
Right? He does pick up the power bracelet as well, so he might head over to level 5 to gain the same information that we have got on Crimson's side.
Yeah, but this has turned into a nice, leisurely, relaxing stroll through the opposite world of Hyrule to the quest for the candle.
There it is, 41 rupees and only 3 rupees for bombs in the same cave in the Forgotten Spot.
Wow. And the Forgotten Spot, if that's the rare shop, by God, that's hidden well.
Yeah, he's going to head over to level 5, it looks like, which, again, is not a bad choice, as it's right here by where we're starting, as far as the start screen goes. Meanwhile, Crimson's still searching for that ever-elusive shop, and hopefully he will find it soon. Yes, Rick, the book is in the spot where vanilla level 3 normally is, so we do have a boomstick this time. Oh, chat said boomstick was on. Okay. Well, in that case, the jury is still out.
We all know it's going to be blamed on me anyway, so let's just run with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that repeated it, so that's all on you.
Oh, of course. Looks like we get some buffering issues. Which maybe just be on my side. No, there we go. We're back now.
And I'm wondering if we might find a little bit of a better path through level 5, at least saving some time since he's got the any key as he went in there. But again, it is definitely ladder blocked, so he's going to find that out and then realize, oh, well, I need to go over to level 8, which is where vanilla level 7 normally is in second quest, as I don't have any other options. So depending on how long it takes for Crimson to find this candle, this could even this whole thing back up. I mean, for the most part here, we've been neck and neck the entire time. It's really quite interesting. That's what's so cool about these second quest overworld seeds, is that when you get shoehorned into a specific path, it's kind of whoever finds that out first kind of has the advantage.
Correct. And we did have the question in the chat as to what the boomstick refers to. Boomstick refers to a setting that can be turned on that makes it so when you acquire the book, it turns into explosions as opposed to fire. And if the boomstick is on, it's going to be found in a shop, not in a dungeon.
Yeah, and isolated locating said ladder block right now. There is one more room that's available that I wonder if there's a staircase in. I know Crimson did not go into that room after remembering his map, so we'll see if isolated finds something that Crimson did not.
Yeah, and from the looks of it, there was no boomstick, so chat, you cray-cray.
Yeah, chat trolling just a little bit then. So, wand a nice find regardless, however, not as valuable as it could be. I believe he already checked bombing up here, so he's going to have to go back to the Pole's Voice room that he just died in and give it a bomb on the left-hand side. But that room I know Crimson did not go into.
I know
which
he did.
could
He bombed
perhaps
into
hold
it.
that staircase. Did he bomb into it?
Yeah, so that's a troll staircase. This is ladder blocked.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yep, so apparently chat is playing on the fun of deceptive hints, giving us some as well.
Yeah, Crimson looks like he's going to locate the candle shop here pretty quickly, but at the same time, we now have isolated leaving level 5 after finding the ladder block. So, again, the amount of time that it's taken Crimson to find the candle has pretty much evened the playing field and put isolated in the lead just a little bit, as he's already heading over towards where level 8 will be.
Yep, and there is Crimson finding the rare shop. You're going to be like, gosh, darn it.
Ooh, I didn't notice the meat the first time. It's got the cheap bait, the cheap bombs, and the cheap candle. What a shop.
Yeah, the problem is the Moblet has a tendency he might go out of business because his shop isn't very well advertised. It's pretty well hidden. It's a nice little hole in the wall.
Indeed. And meanwhile, we are going to have isolated take the long way around, as he does not want to do a bush clip.
I find the bush clip to be one of the more fun things to do.
Yeah, either way, left or from the bottom, it's pretty cool. A way to kind of game the system there. So he heads on in. We've got a pretty little purple-pink color. I really like it.
Is that like the purple link color?
Could be. He's just going to make his way up the spine here. And again, the wand being super nice, right? Because we can now one-shot orange dark nuts, or red dark nuts in this case, however you prefer, making it much easier to get through this dungeon. However, shuffled drop groups, not so fun.
Crim getting the sexy sideways clip to burn in, so he doesn't have to do any sort of up-down clips. That's nice.
Very much so. And I think we confirm 0 HP enemies off a 4-headed Gliok going down in 4 hits.
I think we can do that too at this point, yeah.
So both of them opting to go straight up the spine when we've got an early Triforce, but obviously some item in here is going to be required. We'll see if it is the raft, which would be preferred in the chain link type deal, and if not, it would have to be the recorder.
It could also be the ladder to unlock 7.
But that's no fun, and we don't want to find ladder till an hour in.
Sure, no, I agree with you. I want this to be raft into recorder, into needing that cheap meat to get the Triforce out of 7. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I would rather prefer to see no
is Crim-
Ganon,
Okay, that's
but
what he's doing.
the bait required to bomb into Zelda's room.
Ooh, I do love that. I was going to ask what Crim's doing here, but he's going to get a bomb hole and save himself some bombs. And Isolated doing the exact same thing after he takes a death in a Chevy room.
Very good resource management by these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a case like this, as you and I, again, both know very well, resource management is key.
Yeah, it is important to note that while drop groups are shuffled, that one of the items in the Dark Nut set is guaranteed to drop bombs. The question is, which one is it? And so far, it seems to not be Gibdo's red Dark Nuts or blue Dark Nuts. So, wonder if it's the Pole's voice, which would be unfortunate.
And, Lady Nira, to answer your question about the 100 rupee shield, 160 rupee shield, we have in fact seen that one's going to be, because shop prices, well, actually not necessarily seen it, but there's a pretty good chance we've seen it because shop prices are variable between plus or minus 20 rupees, and we've seen 2 shields, one in the 120 rupee range, one at the 147 rupee price. So I would imagine that that's going to mean, based on the way the statistics work, that we have seen the expensive shield and we don't have boomstick.
Indeed. And, it's nice that this isn't Wizrobes, but normal HP Dark Nuts, I think I'd rather have blue Wizrobes than deal with blue Dark Nuts, even if I've got a wand, because they just suck.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, at least you could slightly predict how a blue Wizrobe's going to work. Blue Dark Nuts, not so much. They just ram you in the face. It looks like Isolated may not yet know that. I mean, he's got to know the drop groups are shuffled, but still looking for bombs. And at this point, it looks like it's Pole's voice. Unfortunately, it could be Zol, because those are in every group as well. But so far, not finding anything that drops bombs for him, and he has used his last one.
And Crim has gone ahead and found a staircase, so that's good.
Yeah, immediately to the right at the start of the dungeon was a staircase that took you to the northwest portion. Both players trying to find the items and what's not very much left of level 8 for either of them.
And as we said, this Gliok, that Gliok in that room, what a wonderful room indeed.
So both players taking a few deaths here in level 8. Unfortunately, but again, it's early on, not a lot of hearts, and it's Dark Nuts and Glioks and Manhandlas. It's not fun to deal with.
Yeah, no, and both Glioks here treating the runners like internet trolls.
Fortunately for Crimson, he's got a full complement of bombs and some extra ones on the floor, but Isolated, not having the same amount of luck, has 0 bombs available to him right now. However, to his advantage, he has got the any key, and Crimson has not taken the time to return to that cave to pick it up, so spending perhaps a little bit of extra time picking up keys in rooms, whereas Isolated can just skip those. Oh!
Book!
Oh!
Book!
Book, and on the other side of the ladder.
Okay, so we're gonna unlock level 7 next.
Very nice. Let us hope for a raft in level 7.
Yeah, ladder to raft to recorder. I'm okay with this. But take a look. It's in a book.
It's reading rainbow.
See, we can do singies.
So, Crimson taking another death.
Gleok doing it again.
An isolated making what I think is a really good choice here, and he found the item he needs to unlock another dungeon. Instead of digging through the rest of level 8, he's just going to make his way to level 7. Or he's going to prove me wrong and go right back in. He just wanted the health refill.
That happens all the time. We get, people like, no, we don't like what you're saying. Crim trying to get the reverse clip to get by the, the bunnies.
Yeah, an amazing toaster making a good point. It doesn't seem like Crimson knows that it's 0 HP bosses. Now he does. It's always a good idea to, if you walk by a Gleok, throw a stab at him, see what you've got dealing with, because you never know when that might come up later. Obviously, it's easy enough to do at any point, but it's always nice to have that in the back of your mind, so you're not, all right, well, this guy's four-headed, I'm not going to deal with him, when you could just walk up and punch him in the face 4 times and be done with it.
True. And the good thing here for Crim is beautiful reverse clip. Him not having the any key actually routed him directly into the ladder because he was conserving his keys. But just absolutely, sometimes you get lucky.
Sometimes you do get lucky. And, like we saw Ampharos the other night, not having a ladder proved to be super useful. And sometimes having these extra resources that, the ladder, the any key, that sort of deal, and even the boomstick sometimes will change your routing enough that it will cause you to miss the easy way to find something. And over on Crimson's side, we find out that orange Tektites drop bombs.
Always fun. Crim now opting to go ahead and hit level 5 first. And isolated, finding the book, and he's just like, oh god, why did I go back in here?
Yeah, this is a fantastic race, right? This is literally down to dungeon execution and who makes the better routing on the overworld and in the dungeons. Just because they have to do the exact same things, right?
Yeah, the dungeon is extremely linear. So, yeah. Right now, the advantage has to go to Isolated on the simple fact if he has the any key.
Yeah, it's quite odd that Crimson did not take the time to go back up there and grab that. We find your favorite piece of equipment in level 5, and Crimson passes it right up.
I'll be sending him a text message about that later.
So again, proving level 7 is where we need to go next, and it should contain the raft or the recorder.
And we're going to get a nice little ladder clipperino here. Assuming Crim can get his Onion Knight lined up. And, Isolated, getting clipped by a Darknut there in the room with the wooden boomerang. Not what he wanted there.
No, and, Crimson's ability to do clips might prove to be the time difference maker here, because Isolated will do them as far as, like, the diamond staircases and such, but I'm not sure that he knows how to ladder clip, and that could make a difference, as Isolated is going to have to find a longer way around to the Triforce.
Yeah, but Crim, getting lucky in his routing path, does manage to go ahead and pick up the Triforce here in 5, and now we're going to go ahead and go up here and pick up the any key, which is great. Gets we'll just call that a damage boost.
Yeah, a D-boost.
Then I'm going to go ahead and up A and just take the quick path back to start, and
Gonna
go ahead and level 7.
Yeah, conveniently right here. Level 7 does have its normal 33 rooms. They don't call it the Demon for no reason.
Absolutely not. And the other good thing about this is we know for a fact we're either getting a recorder or a raft out of this dungeon.
So put your bets in chat. Do we have a raft or do we have a recorder?
Well,
get your votes in now.
I still say, I did say earlier when we were in level 8, I want to see ladder into raft into recorder, so I'm still going with that. No, Jam, re-raft is what happens after you come off the raft spot and you get hit back onto it. That's re-raft.
Indeed so.
And we do have the reverse C room for Crim.
And raft quarter is where you have shuffled overworld in first quest, and recorder spots go to the normal location. That is the new phrase for that, the raft quarter. And that's
And
the
there,
raft!
there it is! Yes! Yes! We're getting it! We're getting the chain reaction!
A chemist teacher couldn't make this up. This is as much of a chain reaction as you can possibly get.
The only thing missing now is a bait block for the Triforce.
Indeed. And while Isolated is killing this room, he is actually going to find what he's looking for just north. It will be the Triforce. He doesn't know that because he doesn't have the compass, but we'll be pleased to see that, I'm sure. I'm sorry, one more room up, but he's close.
And Stalfo's also dropping bombs.
Interesting.
No bones about it. Very interesting.
I'm sure the runners are not as excited as the announcers, Bartman, but you know, things happen.
Absolutely.
And a bomb upgrade. Normal bomb upgrade.
That is, yeah. Case in point about runners not being as excited as we are. Last night, I ended up calling a Link to the Past randomizer race where the Master Sword pedestal was required. Myself and my broadcast partner completely lost it. In the post-race interview, both racers said point blank they hated it. Because a required Master Sword in that situation is like one of these chain reaction seeds where things are buried. It can turn a seed that has the potential to be 40, 50 minutes into a seed, that could be, hour and a half, 2 hours. So the less trolling, the better for the runners.
Also interesting to note that 7 is its normal greenish hue.
I approve of green.
Meanwhile, we do have Isolated making his way into level 7 as well, so hopefully he'll run into that raft quickly, and then whoever finds the Triforce first will take a lead, but Crimson does have a little bit of a head start.
So what you're saying is it's a race to find the try first?
I will give you a 7 out of 10 for that.
Only a 7 out of 10? I was, making sure I didn't try and force it. What you guys can't hear right now is the incessant moaning of JamEvil in our ears every time I make a horrible pun.
It's D-Man with a big old groan in chat, emulating JamEvil in text form. Oh man, the puns. Isolated, finding the raft as we speak. I'm sure, again, is probably not super happy to see that, but at the same time, they know exactly where to go, and they'll be heading to a level 4 to find what has got to be the recorder. Spoiler alert.
And then the best part is the bow is either in 2 or 6.
Right. Let's hope it's in 6. Why not?
Oh, yeah, the trolling would be real. And 6 is going to be the last one they do because they know 9 is up in the very far northwest corner.
Indeed. And it makes sense too, right? You don't want to deal with digging level 6 if you don't need to. Isolated, unfortunately, not having the same rupee count as Crimson, is not able to pick up the bomb upgrade. Could prove to be a difference maker later on. Kind of like Aquamentus, the fresh maker.
Hey, was that both bomb upgrades here in 7?
I believe that was the same one.
Oh, was it the same one? Okay.
Crimson, finding the Triforce in level 7, is now going to probably make his way to level 4. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, could be tricky, but I think that's where he might go. I'm not sure if he's figured it out yet, but definitely where he's probably going to go. It might be a bold move, Go Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Don't call me Cotton. I only wear silk.
And now I have an image of Adagino sitting in his computer chair throne, dressed to the nines in Hugh Hefner-style silk robes.
Hot pink.
Nice. Mers, dude, the best time for the tournament was in round 1. Uno's putting up a 30-14. Which is significantly faster than most people's any percent times.
Yeah, well, it helps when it's 0 HP and pretty much nothing shuffled. Meanwhile, we do have Crimson make his way to level 4. And Isolated is making the correct route up to the Triforce. Does get a double fairy drop off the Moldorms, which is super nice.
And here's the recorder.
Surprise!
Yep, one toot on this whistle will take you to, well, not necessarily a faraway land, but it'll get you where you need to go. The recorder, it's like the Uber of Hyrule.
Except it doesn't cost you anything.
And ooh, look at this level 4. 3 rooms. Recorder, Triforce, boom, good.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see Isolated take too much more time here in level 7. Do have to remember that we still have level 9 left to go and possibly a bow. So a couple of minutes time difference is still not a substantial lead as, again, you know, it's been proven multiple times that level 9 can make life slightly difficult for you.
Interesting choice here for Crim. I would be whistling to level 8 just to get myself over to level 2. Looks like he's opting to do 6 first, perhaps?
That's what it seems like. Interesting choice. I would probably do level 2 just because of the free drop, but it's going to make his way over to level 6, and if level 6 has Wizrobes, that's going to make it even more interesting of a choice. Because I don't believe we've seen Wizrobes yet.
4 had Wizrobes because we saw some Fires in the one room Crimson had to kill.
Ooh, look at the pink.
Ooh, Pepto-Bismol. And there's an Aquamentus guarding a staircase. What's the Freshmaker giving us here?
Ooh!
The red candle. Bow is in 2. So Silvers and Red Ring are confirmed in 9. Finding that, though, is definitely nice for Crim because he can just be in Triforce and Go mode here in level 6.
Yeah, super fine for him. And it looks like we're going to have Isolated making his way out of level 7 and obviously going to make his way to level 4 now. We do have Wizrobes.
We do, we do, we do. And the good thing for Crim here is he knows the Triforce in its original room. So unless there's a shutter door like there is in this room, he doesn't have to kill anything he don't want to.
Mm-hmm. It's a compass.
That's beautiful. So Crim knows exactly where he has to go now. Like the levels you want to find compass in, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Finding it here, absolutely beautiful for Crim.
Meanwhile, we do have a recorder get over on Isolated side in just a few seconds when he picks it up. Happy to find that super early.
Crim using his gets sniped by the Wizrobe beam. Unfortunately, he opted to kill his like shield before the Wizrobe shot. So we're gonna have to take the long winding path back to the Triforce, and that could give Isolated a chance to catch up.
Absolutely, and we'll see. He does use the whistle, so we'll see. It looks like he's probably going to head over to level 2.
Yep, that's exactly where he's going. And interesting note that the recorder is going to original First Quest dungeon locations.
Yeah, which again is pretty nice. It means that he has quick access to level 6, which since he does not screen scroll is actually a super big deal for him.
Yeah, hugely big deal.
He can't whistle to level 6 because he hasn't been to level 6, so I guess it's not super helpful, but he can at least get over to vanilla level 7 and make the long way around.
True, and there's another early Triforce in 2, but making the correct call here and looking for the item, which we know is the bow.
Yeah, he will be happy to see that. Obviously, the item is early in level 6, so it's not too difficult to find, but Crimson does finally get the Triforce here in level 6 and will be heading on out, but still quite the tight race.
Yeah, absolutely, because Crim's going to go to 2, Isolated's going to have to go to 6. Whew, this is going to come down to level 9 routing.
whether or not Ganon's required. I mean, again, it's one of those deals where if he's not, we saw Ampharos find Ganon super quick last night. He didn't win the race, but his 9 was substantially faster than Fred's just because he managed to find the right path. So anything is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And Krim now, I see what he's doing here. He's going to go ahead and he's going to world wrap to get himself over to level 2. You know, it's still probably faster to whistle at this point, but half the time, you know, as speedrunners, we have things so ingrained in our DNA that we just do it.
Well, he probably wants the extra heart as well. Again, probably not getting enough hearts for the magical sword at this point, but definitely worth grabbing the extra heart just in case.
Yeah, and we're going to do a ladder equip into a screen wrap.
And did we have a bow get over on isolated side?
I think we did. So right now, I would honestly have to, depending on how level 6 goes, give the advantage to Isolated just because he's going to be leaving 6 to go and get his 209, whereas Krim's going to be leaving 2, although the whistle to 6 kind of negates that.
Yeah, and we got to think about the fact that he has to walk over to level 6, so it's going to take him a little bit of time. Okay, he's just going to go down here. But, you know, he also has to explore level 6, whereas Crimson didn't need to do that too much. So we'll see how quickly he could get through level 6, because this was a very short 2.
Extremely short, too. All you have to do is up A, go get the Triforce, and you're good. The other thing that Krim knows is drop groups. Well, I was going to say he shuffled, so he doesn't have to kill anything except in the Medusa heads room.
Yes, indeed. And Crimson, knowing that the bow is in here, is obviously going to take the time to look for it. Would be silly not to, especially if Ganon does end up being required, having to leave level 9, which is quite a ways out of the way in the second quest. To go all the way back to level 2 is obviously not optimal.
Yeah, no, definitely not what you want to be doing. And with a little bit of frame droppage there, we do have Isolated finding the red candle, so it is a race to the silvers once we get into level 9.
If they're needed.
It's true. I would be, again, just going north and figuring out, hey, where's Zelda's room? Can I find Zelda's room? Is Ganon required? You know, just going as north as I can.
Unfortunately, taking a few shots from Wizards on the way through these rooms, Isolated needs to avoid taking a death here in order to keep pace with Crimson.
And there's the bow.
So we'll see Crimson make his way up to level 9 very shortly. Definitely does not have enough hearts for the magical sword. Would obviously be nice for level 9 with normal HP, but it's a race. Sometimes you can't afford yourself that time.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, we obviously can access. He's got the Wrath in the Recorder, so he could get the other 3 World Hearts if he really wanted to take the time, and then go check that magical sword at 12. But I don't assume that he's going to do that. Now, it might be worth the time to drop by the desert spot and pick up a potion, which I think he might do.
I think he's got one already.
Does he? Okay. Maybe I missed him picked up.
Oh, he's assuming the any roads, correctly assuming the any roads. Nice play by Krim there.
Yes, indeed. I still don't think that he's used a whistle, so he doesn't know that the whistles go to their normal locations, but unfortunately, Isolated does take a death, which is going to cost him quite a bit of time. Knows where the Triforce is, does have that compass, but having to make your way all the way back up there through these rooms is going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, Krim did do the exact same thing. The only difference is Krim got here just a little bit earlier. So all the time that Isolated could have made up with a deathless 6 is lost there, as unfortunately does take the death.
And yet another one. These are some pretty rough rooms to deal with, you know, with a wood sword, not a wood sword, but a green tunic. That's what I was going for. You know, you're taking 2 hearts from almost everything, and it's sometimes really difficult to get through, especially with bubbles bopping you around.
Absolutely, and we have a nice sort of muted gold color palette here for level 9. I like it.
Yeah, kind of like level 4 usually is.
And we do have Wiz Wopes, but we knew that already.
Indeed. It is quite interesting that the level 9 monsters have been shuffled very, very infrequently. It's about, I think, 6 out of the 28 or so matches that have been played so far have had level 9 shuffled. So expect Wizrobes.
Okay, and Krim was killing that room there in hopes that it was going to be the compass drop.
Indeed, without shuffled drop rooms, you want to be checking those dark rooms, as one of them should contain the compass.
Level 9 seeming right now to be very, very linear as we found ourselves a troll staircase.
Well, you can't go down.
Well, you can go down.
Gels
I forgot this
turning
is
out
the
to be
point.
droppers.
Nice. I did forget that this was the point in the dungeon where the two teeth intersect.
Indeed, and we have a Triforce kit on Isolated side, so he'll be making his way to level 9 very shortly as well. So depending on if Ganon's required, and maybe even if not, we have got a race.
We do have a race here. Well, here's the interesting thing that what Krim's doing is he looks like he is, searching for staircases as opposed to searching for Zelda. I'm not sure if I agree with this call or not. I mean, if it turns out silver arrows are required, then it's a brilliant call. If it turns out that they're not required, it's a questionable one at best.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own style for level 9, right? Again, a lot of players have the mentality of, well, I'm not really going to take the time to search for silver arrows until I know I absolutely need them. Which saves you that time of stepping into staircases, dealing with clips and what could be difficult rooms. Unfortunately, Isolated going to the wrong level 9. Hopefully he will realize that quickly and remedy. Oh no, he's gonna grab a heart or maybe a potion. Okay.
Okay,
so not
no,
a bad call.
No, I like this.
Does grab a potion, so good call on his part, definitely. Has a ladder so he can walk right across here. Unfortunately, means that he will be going into level 9 with only 3 hearts. So a little bit rough there, but is going to make his way to level 9. Meanwhile, Crimson does look like he's doing what you were talking about and maybe searching for silver arrows.
Yeah, it's a very interesting call. We've already seen 4 of the 6 staircases, so he's narrowing down his options pretty well.
Oh, takes a couple of really nasty hits. Yeah, so I mean, a deviation from the normal pattern of what people do in level 9, but it's not necessarily wrong either, because again, it completely depends on what the flags end up being, right? So it could be the correct call, and you can win off of that. At the same time, it could be the correct call to not, and
or there Zelda, you can just have Zelda right there and not need him. Surprise Zelda, everybody!
And Crimson gonna finish with a time of 53:09, right as Isolated makes his way in to said dungeon. Wow.
Yeah, surprise Zelda indeed. Wasn't expecting that.
I'm sure he wasn't either.
Here we are going through the entire spiel of why are you checking for the silver arrows? Why are you checking for oh, hi, Zelda!
It's crazy.
And Krim putting up a very, very good time, though, especially on a sort of troll sea where you had to sort of go to every location on a very linear seed. But a 53:09, very, very good time.
Yes, indeed.
And Patrick claiming yet another victim here in level 9. Do we have a tally yet during the tournament of how many victims have been claimed by what enemies?
No, I'm not keeping that statistic.
Some statistician you are.
Yeah, I'm only tracking like 40 flags. No big deal.
I'm sure somebody at home is crazy enough to do that. And speaking of crazy enough to do that, I heard the ding, so hi, Crim!
Hello.
Hello, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, and so interesting to note, Ganon's not in his room. So Zelda being in her room is, again, one of those really low probability things.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually wasn't even planning on running into Zelda. I just ducked up because of the room right before her. So that was a nice, pleasant surprise.
It's like, oh, hey, hi there.
Yeah, well, what's funny about that is we're sitting there like, oh, Crim ducking into every staircase, looking for the silver arrows. And, oh, hey, look, there's Zelda.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that I would find her soon because I already eliminated 4 staircases, and a lot of them are just like jumping around at the beginning of the level. So I was kind of worried, oh great, this is going to be one of those like crazy seeds where you have to go in a specific area.
Oh, man, and unfortunately, no bombs for Isolated. I believe he was in the correct staircase, but had no way to get out of it to head over to the direction of Zelda, as he has had some bomb issues here in level 9, as he was never able to actually pick up a bomb upgrade.
And so I guess first question I'll ask Crim is, what was your thought process between opting to go staircase hunting for silvers as opposed to just trucking your way north to try and find Zelda?
Honestly, I was a little concerned with my combat going forward. So I was actually going through rooms trying to avoid combat as much as possible. So anywhere where there was an open doorway or something like that, I would opt just to take that at the moment rather than try to fight my way through a room to open a shutter or to bomb any walls or anything like that.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So I guess next question here is, second quest overworld with a very, very linear set of seed options, specifically needing the candle to get to the ladder, and the candle being the rare shop at the Forgotten Spot.
Yeah, well, I figured out when I entered level 1, I'm like, okay, there's a good chance that overworld's not shuffled, so I'll go down, I'll grab the sword, come back and complete 1. After completing 1, I went down to 3, and I'm like, hey, 3's not here. We're on second quest. So at that point, I'm like, okay, well, there's only really so many other places I can check. So I went up to level 3, went and grabbed the power bracelet, realized I was ladder blocked out of level 5, and at that point, I'm like, okay, I have to go to all the shops to find the candle because I know that the next key piece is in level 8. So yeah, luckily I have a little familiarity with where the shops are and everything, so I could go back and check all of them and found the candle at the Forgotten Spot. And after that, it was pretty smooth sailing, except that I forgot bosses had 0 HP and I died to that Gleeok once or twice.
We may have called you out on that one.
Yeah, I would have fought him if I would have remembered they had 0 HP.
Yeah, unfortunately, Isolated struggling just a little bit, searching for bombs still, as we're not quite sure who in the Wizard group drops bombs, and not having bombs in level 9 can be quite troublesome.
Yeah, actually, that's one of my favorite parts about the seed is I didn't have bomb issues.
Which is a rarity in shuffled drop groups. You know, a lot of the time you'll end up having issues with that, but you definitely did not have them.
Yeah, it's a rarity for me as well. I normally, typically I don't bother keeping a bunk count, even though I should, but I was just getting a lot of luck on the random drops, and there were a few rooms I was familiar with that would have bomb drops, so I elected to clear those out to try to grab as many bombs as possible. But I guess the linear path that I took through 9, taking like forced doors and everything, kind of helped with my bomb luck in 9 because I didn't really utilize any bombs to go anywhere.
Yeah, one of the advantages to using the staircases versus the general what seems to be, I would call, the meta way of going through level 9 of just trying to go up to see if you could find Zelda in her room. Definitely help conserve some bombs there. Meanwhile, we still have Isolated making his way through level 9, trying to figure out what it is that can give him a bomb, or perhaps finding the correct staircase, which we know he's already been to, but unfortunately had no way to get out of the room. But there could always be another way to get to where Zelda is as well.
Yeah, the interesting part about that is if you do come into that staircase or the T room from the bottom, it's going to require a ladder clip to get to Zelda.
Unless you can come in from the right-hand side. I guess if it was with a bomb wall, that won't work, though. Unless he finds a bomb, of course. Hopefully Zolts drop bombs, but I haven't seen them do that yet. It could be Vire also, right? And you have to use the sword wand trick in order to actually get to the bombs.
Now, if I remember correctly, and I probably don't, but I think if he clears out that Petra, he would actually be able to get bombs, because I think that was a bomb drop.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping track of what rooms drop what items. So also pointing out here, Krim, you have one of the rare seeds that has contained normal HP enemies. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
I mean, I guess I was okay with it. Enemy HP isn't one of those things that I'm too concerned about either way, whether it's shuffled, normal. I mean, if it's 0 HP, obviously that changes my aggressiveness a lot, but like having normal HP compared to shuffled HP doesn't really matter too much for me.
Fair enough.
Zero HP bosses, on the other hand, but it's very, very nice.
When you remember it's there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Isolated still playing tag with his Patra, unfortunately. Yeah, Random, it could be that he's holding on to that in order for, for Ganon, but at the same time, when you're needing to progress and you're having issues doing that, it's sometimes worth using your potion. Does get through the wall, at least at this time. Unfortunately, still having bomb issues, and you gotta wonder at some point if he's gonna leave and go buy bombs, It is a little bit of a trek to the shop where those are at, but they're only 3 rupees each set, and at this point he's been near 10 minutes without a bomb. You might want to make that choice at some point if you can't figure out what drops bombs in the dungeon. At this point, it seems like it might be the Vire, which unfortunately would require you to sword wand combo them in order to even have a chance at the drop. It could be the red keys too. I guess that is a possibility, but does burn a potion in this room, and unfortunately takes 2 quick shots from the blue wizrobes. And does get the room cleared out though, so he at least won't have to deal with that one again.
Yeah, always a good thing when you can clear a room out and there's bubbles or spike traps in there, so you don't have to worry about them respawning.
And I would think that he would know about the trick for the killing of the Vire, but if he can increment the counter to get those red keys off of the heart, it is possible that they could be bomb droppers. But unfortunately, they do get stuck on the same counter as they don't increment it, so they will always drop hearts in the case of, where his counter is at right now.
Yeah, but sometimes that could be a good thing if, in the case of isolated here, you needed the heart, so that was always a good thing. And then being the hinting the kidnapped awaits in northwest of Skull, which is going to put him on the right path. But remember, we are on deceptive hints.
I think this is the tea room, like right north of here. If he were to go through this room, I think he runs into the tea room. Or maybe, there could be the fact that he could get to the... This might be to the left of Zelda. Zelda is right and up. Could be interesting. I know she was right around this area. That was, in fact, a truthful hint. She is in the northwest of Skull. If he just books it over to the right-hand side, he might end up finding what he's looking for. Because I remember Crim saying he ran into that tea room just because he was trying to get out of the room before it.
I find it interesting that he's trying to kill the orange wizards here.
And he takes a death. I mean, at that point, you might just want to go to the right-hand side and see what's over there. But unfortunately, it does take a death. And it's going to have to make his way back through the dungeon again.
Yeah, at that point, I would just be, there's no need to kill that room because, it might have a bomb drop, but you have 2 ways to go right there. So there's 0 reason to have to kill that room in that instance. I would definitely be going to try and find, see what is to the right or up from that room, absolutely.
Fortunately, I don't think it's going to take him too much time to get back to where it was because he is at the staircase.
Bombs. Keys do drop bombs.
The keys do drop bombs. That is a huge thing. Embarrassment of bombs. Fantastic. So it's important to note, again, with the split Zols gels and the red keys off of Vires, if they are part of a drop group, they will always be stuck on whatever drop they're on due to the fact that they do not increment the drop counter. So if you suspect that they are on the bomb group, you will need to go kill some other enemy in order to increment that counter. And then you could go back and kill them to your heart's content and possibly find some bomb drops in the process. Okay, so I was incorrect. It might be up from here.
Either way, one of the worst things is to walk in from the left-hand side of a room and, hey, surprise, land Mola.
Yeah. And he does burn his last potion charge, which, again, not a bad choice. You're trying to get to the dungeon.
You're right. There it is. All you have to go is go up, right up, and he's good.
Yeah, but no shutter door to indicate that. So we'll see what he does. I mean, if I'm him, I avoid that room, right? I'm not going to go into a tea room with wizrobes. That's just suicide when you just use your last potion charge and you've only got 8 hearts. That's not something you're probably going to do, especially since it looks like he's going to take a few bops going through this room. We'll see how long it takes him to get to that room to get to Zelda, because that's the only way. She's in her room. And if he's following the normal pattern of how level 9s work, you don't assume that Zelda's going to be in her room because he just saw Ganon's room and there was no Ganon. So that's, you know, one of those things you kind of tick off in the back of your mind. Okay, Zelda's not in her room. I don't need to go up to find her probably. And in fact, you do in this case.
Yeah, no, this is just one of those things where the logic can just be like, hey, it fails you.
Yeah. And again, back to my previous point about gels and keys, the only gels that don't increment the counter are the ones that split off of Zols. So if you kill regular gels on the floor, it will actually increment the counter. And they are also part of a different drop group than the ones that split off of the Zols. Because game logic.
Nintendo logic. The one good thing that we do have here is that Isolated does have the hint going that the kidnapped awaits in northwest of Skull. And assuming if he's going off of the assumption that is a correct hint, which we know it is, eventually he'll have to go back to that tomb because it's the only spot left in the northwest.
Yeah, but he's also ran into the 4 or 5 deceptive hints that we've seen in this seed as well, so knows not to trust anything, unfortunately.
No, I definitely agree, but that's one of those situations where I would just go with it because I've got the rest of the northwest cleared out. What's the worst that can happen? I clear out an extra room.
Indeed. It looks like Likes are in the health group, which is really nice.
And ooh, this sucks, being trapped into this room. So you'd have to clip into the stairs to get out or kill the Vizrobes.
Yeah, gonna use them bombs to get rid of these Wizrobes. Not a bad choice, but
Nope.
Still dies, unfortunately.
Wizrobe's going to use themselves to get rid of him.
Yep, they cast Thunder, Link dies.
So while we are making our way back through level 9 again, I do want to bring something up, and I want to see if you guys here have a different opinion than the other people. I've been branching out. I did some Link to the Past commentary last night, and we had a long, drawn-out section like this where we had to repeat going through dungeons. There wasn't really a whole lot to say, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, my time. So if you remember the last time Genos and I were together doing a long, drawn-out set of commentary, we might have gotten into the discussion about the Great Hyrulean Armos Uprising of 1725. And then we got into the discussion of the live-action cast who would be playing characters in the universe. So I'm going to ask you guys, who's playing who in the Zelda universe in the movie made by Disney? The only thing that everybody agreed on is that we need to find the most obnoxious person possible for Navi, and we all voted for Fran Drescher. Hey, listen, Link! And going into the tea room here, Does going to take it, and that is going to be it. Does find the path to Zelda. So obviously Isolated realizing I was going off on a tangent, and he's like, nope, this is not going to happen. I'm just going to end the game here.
Yeah, he realized that you were going to start talking and decided to spare everybody's ears and finish the game up quickly. Does finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 13 minutes flat. So unfortunately, level 9 giving him a little bit of the ringer, but does find a correct path in the end, assuming that that hint is correct. I believe that was the final room that he could go in.
Yeah, but hey, you know, it's one of those fun things where you don't have a required Ganon. I've yet to have that in my 2 races. Both times I've had it, it's been Ganon required.
I'm trying to remember my first race. I might be the same way.
Oh, I can confirm your second race had Ganon required.
I say I would ask Rick, but Rick is currently unavailable, I believe.
Yes, but Isolated is currently available and has joined us here in the chat.
I don't think the search for the second item in 8 was quite worth it. I'm calling it a
Probably
hunch.
not.
Yeah, no, definitely wasn't.
So, what were your thoughts overall on that seed? It was pretty linear, obviously, since you had to basically go from dungeon to dungeon to access anything else on the overworld.
Yeah, overall, the seed wasn't really that bad. It's just the second item in 8 being the book combined with 9 deciding it doesn't like me being alive was a big problem.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, the level 9 was not treating you very nicely at all there. But Vanilla Second Quest Overworld, what are your thoughts on getting that as the flag set for you?
I was completely fine with it because I have a pretty good idea of where everything is. It's just the candle shop being in that cheap, what's normally the cheap magic shield shop, meant that I think it was like Forgotten Cave right next to level 9. And there's one other place that may or may not be candle blocked in order to get to that.
Yeah, definitely having the candle shop be in the forgotten spot and needing it to progress through the seed, always fun.
Yeah. I was secretly hoping that it was going to be in the rare shop just because I knew where the rare shop was, but not this time. So do we know if it was the standard fare in 9 and then the heart container on the coast? Because I didn't check any of that.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was, yes.
Yeah, pretty standard fare. Power bracelet, heart container, silver and red ring in 9, ladder and book in 8, leading you to the raft in 7, leading you to the recorder in 4, leading you to the bow in 2, which turns out wasn't required.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. I don't think I actually ran into a Goma at all. Oh, wait, no, there was that one in the Chevy room in one of the dungeons before I had the ladder.
Yeah, but nothing you can do about that. Just like, yep, bye, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Yep.
bosses weren't shuffled between levels, so the only place you would have seen them would have been 8 and 6.
So the enemy HP was normal, but the boss HP looked like it was 0.
That is correct. You got one of the very rare normal HP enemy seeds, which can turn out to be, again, level 9 being the way it was and where Zelda was, can be a little bit troublesome without a magical sword or any kind of defense upgrade. But I think you did pretty well regardless of that, other than Patrick giving you a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, and running out of bombs probably didn't help. I don't know if there were any bomb doors on the way to Zelda, but it felt like without the bombs, it was just going to be a long slog through 9. Plus, the wizards were a little bit harder to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, lack of the bomb drops cost you, I think, more time than anything. And unfortunately, you did find them there off the red keys. Again, there is always a guaranteed bomb dropper in every group, but finding it sometimes is a little bit more difficult than it should be.
Yeah, I think if I hadn't searched for the item in 2, I might have gotten 2. And the second item in 8, I might have gotten into 9 a little bit faster. But I'm not sure how much that would have changed outside of the time difference between the finish times.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that would have changed either. But either one of you runners have anything else left that you would like to say before you wrap up and get ready for the amazing cavalcade of races we've got coming up?
Who always keeps putting this book in the places you never want to see them? Like, just put it in the shop, make it explode, we're good. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Blame me.
I was going to blame Lizzie.
Yeah, you can do that too, but... All right, well, thank you guys very, very much for another entertaining race here. And as we said, we have got plenty more races coming up here throughout the day. We've got one coming up in about a half an hour right here on twitch.tv/JamEvil. It's going to be RC Drone and Victon. And then coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern, we've got Rob Draven and Ziegwin. 5 p.m. Eastern, we've got Dig Shake and Darkwing Duck. 5:01 p.m. Eastern, JamEvil and K-Mac. 8 p.m. Eastern, Truant Gamer and Breasticle. And our nightcap tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, Zardia versus Chess Jerk. Those two nightcaps, the 8 and the 10, are right here on JamEvil's channel. The 4, the 5, and the 5:01. We are looking to find places to get them restreamed. So if you have the capability of doing so, please give one of our tournament admins a message, and we will hook you up.
Yep, definitely needs some restreamers for this afternoon. I think we can get it taken care of if we don't find some, but it would definitely be helpful if we have some additional restreamers. As I know Jay Coper is out of town this weekend, and obviously I've got commentary during that time, and Jam is playing during that time, so a little bit short on restreamers. So if you are available, please let us know.
Yes, but with that, I believe we are going to head out for a bit. I know that Genos is going to want to get himself ready for the couple more commentaries he has. And actually, I can see based on the list that Isolated, you and Genos have the Jam and K-Mac match coming up.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, which, barring anything major happening, that should be a really good match.
Yeah, I'm a little bit sad that that's at the same time as Dig Shake and Darkwing, as both of those are going to be awesome matches to watch. So I will have to go back and watch the VOD for that. Hopefully no spoilers, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm working, so I'm going to come home and have, all kinds of VODs to watch. I'm going to have, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it like 2 or 3 VODs up on the screen at once to try and keep track of everything, just do one at a time. I'm not sure, but I know I'll have plenty of entertainment for the next couple of days.
For sure, but we're going to go ahead and take off. Thank you again to CrimsonAvix and Isolated for the fantastic race. Jam for restreaming all day when he's not racing. And also to you, Greenleaf, for throwing us some commentary this morning. Always nice to get to be on the comms with you.
Well, thank you. Always a pleasure to work with you as well, my friend. And
see you in 30.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, hit the follow button here on Jam's channel, too. But yeah, we'll see you guys in a half hour.